It's been 18 years? Due to the sheer number of delays, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond has built itself some high expectations following the Metroid trilogy. The level of quality the Metroid series has brought us now has brought it into the spotlight for better or for worse. The story picks up chronologically at the corruption, but it is isolated from the trilogy to ensure new players will fully grasp the story and world to get the ride the glorious Viola. You, Samus the legendary bounty hunter, gets sent to the planet Viros by an unknown alien artifact after a fight with the main antagonist Silex. It's up to you and your Federation buddies to find a way back to your home planet Tanimar, whilst finding out what wiped out the Lemorn, the alien species native to Viros, and collect green crystals. A lot of green crystals. This game not only has amazing graphics, has amazing accessibility and control options. You can play this game in any control scheme you see fit, from the glorious GameCube days to the Prime 1 remaster control scheme and the brand new mouse controls that we have today. For the whole playthrough, apart from handheld sessions, I played this game exclusively in mouse mode. Using the Joy-Con as a mouse feels natural and is the optimal way to control Samus' blaster in my opinion. To the ease of scanning objects or shooting down space pirates or cruising around Soul Valley on the Viola, this game, unknowingly or not, became the best showcase for the Switch 2 mouse controls. And how about those amiibos? Yes, I bought all three. And yes, I don't know the concept of money. Each amiibo has its own functionality. The Samus amiibo gives an energy and health restore that can be used once a day and provide music options for the Viola, which I feel indifferent about. I personally believe the soundtrack to the bike shouldn't be behind a paywall, and that should be included in the base game. Now, Samus and the Viola amiibo provides a daily boost to the bike and provides skins and total distance traveled, which is pretty neat if you're into those stats like me. And Silex provides a 100% completion post-game scene regardless if you achieved 100% status or not. Now, apart from the stunning locations like Fury Green and the killer mouse controls, everything else where Prime 4 starts to lose its footing just a little bit. I'll address the elephant in the room, the inclusion of the Galactic Federation soldiers, more specifically Miles McKenzie. He injects himself into the game by giving you objectives and major hints on what to do. This wouldn't be such a huge problem if he didn't simultaneously give you the objective and hint to solve said objective. It completely takes away the exploration and the need to track back to previous areas, which are tied to the Metroidvania genre and Prime series. The majority of the outrage is how left field this is to the Metroid series in comparison to the other ones, and how isolated those ones felt. Having played the trilogy beforehand, I feel a lot of 4's inspiration is from 3, and by that I mean the more prominent inclusion of the Galactic Federation soldiers, not the heavy hand-holding. That's a different topic I'll touch on later. In Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, the first hour or so is extremely dialogue heavy in comparison to the first 2 entries. There was a lot of world building and the introduction of the other space bounty hunters, who, spoilers, you have to track all of them down and kill them to free the corrupted bodies of Phazon by Dark Samus. My point is, if you had played Prime 3, in my opinion, the outrage would be more about the story and the world than the fact they were included in the first place. Now the story. In the beginning of the game, once I got to Fury Green, I was hooked. I was determined to check every corridor and every door to learn all I could about the Lemorn. It's really interesting learning all about their history and how advanced they really were. I recommend the title for that alone if you're interested in scanning everything in the previous Metroid games. It feels more rewarding than ever because of the captivating lore of the Lemorn. Now for the Galactic Federation, I feel the story and character development were lackluster in comparison. Each of the soldiers' stories had little to no payoff, other than reaching the end goal. By the time you reach the end of the story, and for lack of a better word due to spoilers, say goodbye, you don't feel anything in terms of emotional payoff with them. I feel the characters weren't written seriously enough for the most part, specifically Armstrong and Mackenzie. These two, whenever they are in a scene, they are tension and mood killers. Part of me feels that's what they wanted to achieve, but with that, they are alienating their core audience in favor of hand-holding the new ones in fear this game is too serious or difficult for them. Each individual soldier that you meet escorts Samus to a certain location before you get to roam the area on your own. This is my biggest gripe with the game. It almost feels like they don't trust the newer players to reach objective on their own before they quit, so we have to be guided up to a certain point. And just like Mackenzie on the radio overly guiding the player, within seconds of reaching a room filled with puzzles or a switch that needs to be powered on, one of them, or multiple of them in some instances, chime in and basically solves it for Samus. It's really immersion breaking when they set a huge power dynamic between the soldiers and Samus Samus, and one of the soldiers is fangirling over Samus, and the next sentence they're giving her instruction like she's a rookie soldier. This is a common theme in the game which breaks away from the Metroid mold in a negative light. Another thing that breaks this game further away from the mold is the inclusion of Soul Valley and the Viola. These very two inclusions turn the planet Viros into a somewhat disjointed world to explore, especially when you're in Soul Valley going from one area to the next. Soul Valley is a quiet, bleak area with no soundtrack and practically nothing to do apart from collect green crystals and have little one-sided conversations with one of the soldiers you meet along your journey. It actually reminded me of Twilight Princess, which pains me to say. In that game, Hyrule Field is very similar to Soul Valley, completely empty. It's just essentially padding from one area to the next. It's a shame. I actually like the inclusion of the motorcycle. It adds more depth to Samus, but I feel the execution here was half-baked. But don't worry, at least each area apart from Soul Valley has their own personality and soundtrack that perfectly captures each location's mood. Especially Volt Forward's soundtrack amping up each time you power up the generators. I just love that part. When Samus is in Soul Valley and she's finally alone exploring abandoned facilities and mines, the game really shines. It still has the classic Metroid Prime feel and gameplay in those regards. You still scan everything in sight and go around collecting missiles, power-ups, expansions while fending off whatever attacks. Each location requires backtracking to the previous areas to require new beams or additions to Samus' suit to progress the game further like its predecessors. And every area each has their own unique boss fights and ways to tackle each boss. I would like to add that I really do enjoy the addition of the motorcycle for some boss fights. It adds a new dynamic not done before in the Prime series and I think was really well executed. Now highlighting the Ice Belt facility, that location offers fantastic linear gameplay with narrow corridors and unique puzzles that honor the previous installments of the series. It has a nice frozen in time feeling, quite figuratively and literally, which fits in nicely with the theme of the game. And other locations in the game, which I won't mention, have their own unique themes and layouts, which is where I feel this game really excels. Each place is breathtaking to look at, and each has their own moment where you just stop and soak in the environment and what's around you. I personally like how they include Silux and show how he's affecting everything throughout your journey. It's really interesting to discover and see unfold. Simply put, if they got rid of Soul Valley and added shortcuts when backtracking, it would have really improved the game and overall pacing of the story in my opinion. Overall, with Metroid Prime 4, you're getting your typical Prime experience with some setbacks. I believe this game is more meant for the newcomers and casuals that want to give the Metroid series a go. For the hardcore Metroid fans, this game is a minor concern for the future of Metroid while simultaneously delivering in some aspects to the fans of the past series. Overall, I personally enjoyed my experience with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and strongly recommend it to newcomers and even longtime fans despite its flaws.